Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is March 8th, Women's Day. I just wanted to remind my fellow brothers and sisters about the status of women in Islam. 1400 years ago, Islam elevated the status of women from a sexual object to a human being, to a person who has a right. Unfortunately, 1400 years after Islam, still our sisters are struggling to gain their rightfully right in their societies. Years of colonization, invasion, civil war, they all had a toll on our sisters worldwide. As a Muslim woman, it's very important to know our rights and our role models. Who are they? In Islam, we have a lot of role models. For example, Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun, who was a Muslim. Balqis, who was the leader, and when Sulaiman alayhi salam offered to her Islam, she studied Islam first. She looked into it, and then she preferred accepting Islam than fighting. So she was a peacemaker, the very first peacemaker in Islam. We have Maryam, the mother of Isa alayhi salam, who struggled, who braved the social taboos that existed at that time. She was a single mom, and she was a chosen woman, the mother of the Prophet. We have Khadija alayhi salam, the woman who sacrificed all her wealth because of Islam. We have Fatima, the daughter of Prophet. We have Aisha, Sadiqa, the wife of the Prophet, who we have all the hadiths that we have today is because of her. And so on and so forth. We had women who were muhtasib of Medina market. They were merchants. They were active members of their society. Unfortunately, we have a lot of problem now in our societies because the lack of education, the lack of understanding Islam, and also forgetting our role models. As we all know, 1400 years ago, women could give bay'ah. In today's modern world, bay'ah is vote. Unfortunately, not a lot of women can vote around the world. Meanwhile, Islam gave them the right to vote 1400 years ago. They were camel riders back then, but in a lot of countries, women are not allowed to drive. And we are living in 21st century. Why we have problems in our societies? First, we forgot Islam. We forgot the teaching of Islam. We mixed Islam with our cultural values. Second, we had colonizations. We had civil wars that prevented people from digging in and gaining momentum with their Islamic identities. So we have to revive our Islamic identities. First, we are Muslim. than American or Afghan or Saudis or Egyptian and so on and so forth. We have to be proud of our Islamic heritage, our Islamic values, and Islamic teaching. If we follow Islam in our society, if we follow Islam in our daily life, women would not have any problem. The problem comes when we don't practice Islam in our society, when we don't practice Islam in our politics, when we don't practice Islam in our government, when we don't practice Islam in our house and our society and our home and our relationships. Then the problem comes. The lack of understanding of Islam, the lack of practice in Islam, all these problems arose because of that. So my advice to the youth, my advice to the young generation, to dig into Islam, to dig in your identity. You are a Muslim first. Revive your identity. Become a practical Muslim. Then you learn how to respect your mom. Then you learn how to respect a woman. Then you learn how to respect your wife, your sister, your daughter. When you know Islam, you would not ignore her right. Knowing Islam and reviving your Islamic identity and practicing Islam is the key for women's rights. We have to revive our rights. We have to revive these values so we have a better understanding of women's rights. Without these values, our women will always struggle, will always be haqir, will always be faqir, and will always be asir. So remember that. Revive Islam, revive Islamic values, revive Islamic teaching. Then you'll accomplish women's rights. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.